Hi everyone. Okay, thank you for tuning in again this week. This week is more of a continuation from the previous few weeks. Of course, National Day is coming up, so I will do something that is also National Day themed. So this week I'm going to do cupcake. If you know, then the last few weeks, if you did tune in, I did ice cream. If you can look at the zoom in one here, okay. So I did the ice cream last week, and the week before that I did donuts. All right. So these were the things that I have already done. So this week I'm going to do cupcakes. Hi Young Suk. So today my husband is helping me with the tech stuff. He's my cameraman, so behind the scenes. Okay, so I'll introduce myself. My name is Annabelle, for those that are just joining us today. And I have been making polymer clay, a lot of polymer clay projects. And if you're interested in polymer clay, or just interested in looking what you can do with polymer clay, please do stay tuned. And I have been doing many things, whether it's bowls, little pencil holders, charms, a lot of jewelry. Okay, please take a look at Artsphere, like our page. Okay, we have many other videos there as well. Just besides polymer clay, there's exercise videos and language classes as well, and makeup tutorials. So do like our page. If there's any comments, please do leave your comments, and we will, if there are any questions, and I will answer the questions along the way as well. Okay. So today I'm going to start. Like I said, I will be making cupcakes. It is National Day soon. So we are going to do a red and white theme. All right, I have ran out of white, so I'm using something that is a little bit off white, hopefully as close to white as I possibly have. All right, but I will be teaching you how to make cupcakes on a bracelet charm. So like I said earlier, these are the ones that I have made earlier, all right, in the past 2 weeks, and I will be continuing that. So I have taken these two to actually use it as a size reference for myself, so that I don't make it too large or too small today. Okay, so there are a few things that you would need. You can choose any color for icing. So today I'm choosing red and a bit of an off-white color here. These will be my icing today. You need another color for the cupcake cups at the bottom. So that one, you can, let me just grab an example. So if you can see in the zoom in camera here, you just need a color for the cupcake cups at the bottom. Any color you want is fine. And then you have a bit of brown here, and this one is for the cupcake itself. And I'll be teaching you how to do the cupcake and the texture for that. Okay, so today we are going to be making cupcakes, and I'm quite excited. It's actually the first time I'm doing something like this. It was actually a suggestion from one of my viewers to do cupcakes. So that's why I am trying it out. I have made it several times, and I think I got the technique down. I have seen many, if you Google cupcake polymer clay on YouTube, you would come up with a lot of different techniques. So I think I kind of looked around and I put together what I thought was like the easiest to do, and the least amount of resources or materials that you would need. Because a lot of them do require molds and stuff, so I'm just going to show you how to make cupcake without the mold. Okay, so the first part I'm going to start with the bottom part first, the cup itself. Okay, so there are a couple of things you need for that. So I'm going to take out my cutter again. If you don't have something like this, that is fine, okay? You can always just use a plastic knife or something. This is to just help you cut the clay, that's it. And then you would need a roller. Okay, if you don't have something like this, You can also just use the glass, all right? As long as your glass doesn't have patterns on it, and that's fine too. Okay, or if you do have like a regular roller you use in the kitchen, you can always use that as well. All right, the other thing that I am using today is just an old toothbrush. Actually, this toothbrush is one of the free toothbrushes I got from a hotel a long time ago. So I took it out to use it. But if you have an old toothbrush and you want to throw it away, you can keep it and use it for things like that. And the last one I am going to be using this one today. I did specifically buy this for polymer clay because it's quite exact and it's sharp with the point and everything. So this is actually to poke holes in beads and stuff, but I'll be using this to make patterns on the cup today. If you don't have this, right, you don't need to go out and buy one, or you can just use a toothpick, okay, or a satay stick. It's just that satay stick will be a little bit thick, so a toothpick might be better. Okay, so this is all we really need for today, and we can start. Okay, so I'm going to use my cutter first to put this aside here. Okay, so I'm going to use my cutter first to cut the amount of the amount I want for my cup at the bottom. Okay, so if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask or comment, or if there's anything you want me to make, please do leave a comment there as well. Okay, so that I usually will take your suggestions and see what I can possibly make the next session. So for those that are just joining in, right, I am actually going to make a charm bracelet that's full of sweet stuff, okay, because I like sweet stuff. So I decided to take on that project and just do that. But it's going to be a few weeks worth. I've decided to make waffles next week, so I'm going to try that. Okay, so but the amount of clay to cut, right, it would depend on how big you want your cup to be. So since it's going to be a charm, I do want it on the smaller side. I don't want it too big because once I add the cupcake on top and the icing, it can end up quite big. So this is something that I'll try and keep it a little bit small, maybe as big as the tip of my index finger. Okay, I roll it into a rough ball, and then I'm just going to put it in between my hands like that, and just roll it this way so that it will have like a little bit of a sharp conical shape. All right, if you can see that. All right, so if it's not that obvious, you just keep rubbing this way, and then you have like a teardrop shape. So this would be a lot more obvious. All right, then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to press it to the tabletop like that so it flattens at the bottom. Okay, the thinner end will be at the bottom because if you look at a cupcake, it's usually the bottom is narrower than the top, kind of looks like that. So this is the shape that we want, okay? And then the next thing I'm going to do, so for the top, it's still a little bit rounded. You can go ahead, flip it over the other way and press it. Okay, and so then the top will flatten out a little bit more like that. And then you pinch the edges. Okay, and then that's how you kind of get the cupcake. So you just go ahead, use your fingers and pinch the edges and create a little hole in the middle, a little dip in the middle like that. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask, whether it's about how to make something or where did I get my clay from and things like that, okay? I'll be more than happy to share. All right, so yeah, National Day is coming up. And we're all quite excited because they do have like they're bringing all these celebrations to the neighborhood, this weekend. So, and there's several practices happening this weekend, so we were hoping to catch some of them. I know the Red Lions are landing near Sengkang General Hospital. It's right next. There's a field right next to Sengkang General Hospital, and so it's going to be really exciting. I think if we can kind of catch them, hopefully. Okay, so what I did earlier on, I kind of just rolled it at the table to kind of smoothen out the rounds here, okay, the sides of the cup, because it had a lot of my fingerprints while I was pinching the sides of it. So if you just give a light little roll there, it will smoothen out the edges, okay? And then in order to make here a little bit more level, okay, I just place it on the tabletop and I give it a very light press and it will level out. And the cup is done, all right? Very fast. I'm going to show you again because I do have to, I'm going to make two because they're going to have different color icing, right? So just cut the amount of clay that you want. Okay, and I did mention earlier, about as big as the fingertip of my index finger. Roll it into a rough ball. All right. And then you would, oh, that's right. Roll it in between your hands like that to get it to teardrop shape. So where the sharp tip is, place it on the tabletop. Press it down this way to flatten the bottom. And then you kind of flatten the top. Okay. And then you pinch so that you create a little hole in the middle this way. And to create your cup. Yeah, so if you're interested in what we as a group do, definitely do join our Telegram chat. You know, we have a lot of updates and you'll receive notifications on what we, on the sessions that we have and the latest news the latest things that we're doing. So definitely do join. My husband teaches Korean in the group too, so he and you know, he loves sharing about his culture and anything like that. So if you're interested in learning about Korean or learning Japanese, we do have someone who does teach Japanese. You know, if you have any interest, definitely ask. You can definitely join our group, and they'll be more than happy to share what they know. If you're interested in hobby like I am, anything arts and craft, I'm quite interested in. Not necessarily. I love polymer clay, but I do love arts and craft as well. So if you're interested in arts and craft, you know, and you are looking for someone who shares their interest, definitely do join because I am always looking for people to kind of do my arts and craft or discuss arts and crafts with. All right. So I'm done with my second cup. Okay, so they're both, the sizes are a little bit different. That's okay. It doesn't really matter. Now, if you're making a pair of earrings, then it would matter a little bit more because you kind of you want them the same size. But since I'm making bracelet charms, so I'm not going to be too particular about the size. What I can do is you know, kind of make up for it and maybe use the more brown to kind of make the cupcake a little bit larger on this one that has the smaller cup. All right, so I'm done with the cups. Next, what I'm going to do is I am going to make the cupcake itself. This one is really simple, very easy. You just roll it into a rough ball. Okay, before moving on, I'm just going to clean this area so that I don't get any dust or the previous color polymer clay onto my new clay. Because clays are very sticky before baking at this point, and they will pick up the dust and the other colors of the clay. And if you do want to get rid of it, it's a little bit hard. So usually you try and keep your working tabletop as clean as you can get. Then you roll this into a ball. So, and then you flatten it to the tabletop like this. Okay. So for those that are just joining us, if you have any questions, please do feel free to leave your comments and I will definitely answer them. If not, please do like our page. We really have a lot of interesting things going on and I'm sure you'll find something of interest to you. All right, so right now what I'm doing is I'm making cupcake and I'm making the cupcake itself. So I rolled it into a round ball and then I'm kind of flattening it. So if you can see, what I'm doing is I'm kind of pressing the sides a little bit more so it's thicker in the middle and then thinner at the sides. Okay, make sure make sure it's not stuck to the tabletop too. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my toothbrush and I'm going to add the texture to it. So usually when we bake muffins and bread or anything like that, there's bubbles inside and that's what makes it fluffy for cake as well. So we are using the toothbrush to kind of create that bubble effect on the cake. All right. So this is one way you can do it. The other way, which I will demonstrate too, is they do use aluminum foil. So basically you get a small piece of aluminum foil. You scrunch it up into a ball like this, okay? So, and then after that, you just kind of roll it on the top of your clay. So, but with why I like the toothbrush better is because the bristles are finer, okay, it's smaller. And if I'm working on something small, then I would need something a little bit smaller to create the bubbles. If my project was a little bit bigger, I'd be using the aluminum foil, all right? Because the aluminum foil tends to be a little bit more spread out when you actually roll the texture on it. So I do like the toothbrush a bit better since my cupcake is going to be a mini one instead of one that is, of the regular size. So that's why I am using a toothbrush. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to place it on top of the cup. Okay, this way. Okay, don't worry. You want to make sure that the cupcake that you're making is larger than the opening of the cup you have made so that it can sit on top of it. Don't worry if it's not like a perfectly round shape. It's okay. You can just kind of give the sides, like press the sides down a little. Okay, if you can see here, you can just press it down a little. Why I'm doing this is because when we bake cupcakes, it does expand, it goes up, but sometimes it kind of runs down the side a little bit as well. So it doesn't end up in a perfectly round shape. And so this one, it makes it a little bit more realistic. Okay, so if you want to get rid of your fingerprints from pressing the cupcake, you can just use your toothbrush, go around that, go around the sides, create the texture again, and then it's done. Okay, so I have one cupcake. And then now I'll do the next one, same thing, roll it into a rough ball, and then add it here. So if there's any comments, please feel free to leave your comments. Oh, thank you, Candy. I know, right? Cupcakes are cute. I like it, actually. If you have any suggestions, right, on what I should make next, I'm looking at Western candies now, sweet stuff, or what I should add on to my bracelet. Please feel free to give your comments, all right? Okay, so now for the other cupcake, same thing, you flatten it. And then you press the sides down a little. Okay, you want to leave the middle part thick because that's how cupcakes usually look like when you're baking it. So you make the middle part thick. So, you know, I was just wondering what everyone has planned for the long weekend. So National Day is a public holiday on Monday. And if there's any plans, my husband and I are going to try and catch some of the celebration, you know, the programs that they have planned. We live in a Punggol area, so, you know, there's lots of, I think the mobile phones coming through here and things like that. So there's lots of things around us that we can go take a look at and see. And they're going to set up the fireworks, I think, around here. So apparently there's like 10 different locations this year they're setting off the fireworks from. So hopefully from when we find out where that's at, we can go take a look. Usually you only get to see fireworks in Singapore like twice, maybe 3 times a year if we go Chinese New Year to Chinatown. If not, it's usually New Year's Eve and National Day. A very big event when the fireworks are, when they do release fireworks. Okay, so I am done with this one. So I just want to make sure it's not stuck onto my tabletop because it's quite sticky. So what I can do is I can use my cutter, kind of lift it up a little this way, and then it'll come right off. Okay, don't worry if it goes out of shape, it is completely fine. Another easy way to do this is if you don't want it to stick to your tabletop, put it on top of your index finger, and then you kind of just do the texturing on it this way. Okay, so then you know it won't stick. And then you just do you just get your toothbrush with this. Okay, and then while it's on your fingertip, why I kind of really like it on my fingertip, it's because it kind of gives that round cupcake shape that it should have, all right? So it will naturally form to that shape because your fingertips are round at the top, at the tip. So when you're using the toothbrush to kind of texture it, it will actually follow shape. Right. Please do give any comments. You know, I was also thinking of if you're very interested, you know, you can always drop me a private message. I do have a page for the polymer clay. You can join. And I'll be trying to organize weekly trips to like Art Friend or Spotlight so that we can get the materials, because if you're new to this and you are not sure what you need to get, you know, it's always good to have someone who knows to kind of give you some suggestions and let you know what is needed and what is not. If you're interested in making something, you also have somebody to ask like what should you buy, because it's always troublesome to make like multiple trips now. Art Friend and Spotlight is not exactly very near to where we stay, so you do want to make sure that we can get everything we need in a trip. All right. So if you're interested, do let me know, all right, and we can definitely meet up and plan, make a plan to for like a crafts shopping trip. Okay. All right. So this one's done. I'm going to place it on top of the cup like this, and I'm just going to press it down at the sides. And look. So this one is the cupcake. So you can actually see the difference. I placed this one on top of my fingertip, and this one I just put it on the tabletop. And you can actually see like it's rounder when I use my fingertip. So that's the difference, okay? It's really up to you, because cupcakes or muffins, or you know, there's both. It can go really round like this, or it can be a little bit flat like this. It doesn't really matter, but it depends on what your preference is, okay? So I'm just going to press it down the sides with this one, and then I'm going to run my toothbrush down the sides again, just to make sure that I have the texture for it. Okay, and then this is done. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to use this tool I have here. A toothpick works just as well. It's just that I like using this a little bit better because clay tends to stick to toothpick because it's made out of wood. So you do have to wipe the toothpick every so often when you are using the toothpick. But other than that, it works just as great, and you don't have to specially buy a tool like this. Okay. So, but for those that are interested, this is a tool I use for making holes through the middle of beads. If I'm making polymer clay beads, so I use this to make the holes. But for this one, what I'm going to do, I am going to make the pattern of the cupcake at the sides. They usually have the lines running down the sides this way, so I'm just going to press the lines into the cupcake itself this way. So that is what I'm using this for. Toothpick works fine. If you have anything long, thin, and sharp, you can always just use that. I've seen online that many people do use a mold to make the bottom. And of course, that turns out nicer, and it's always the same size and it's uniform and things like that. But you would have to purchase the mold, which I didn't really want to because I don't know. I might only be making cupcakes this time. I don't see myself making cupcakes like a lot. So this is why I decided that I would just do. I would just physically just put every line into the side of the cupcake. And it's not a very large one, it's a mini one, so it shouldn't be too, it will still turn out pretty nicely. So you just want to go down the sides with the lines this way and it will turn out perfectly great. I will show you again with the second one. Oh my gosh, right? So once you just said that she feels like having a cupcake, I also want to eat one. I haven't had cupcake in the longest time. And they come in so many colors, which is really, really great. If you are making cupcakes, I am making them the regular cake color, this brown, but they have like chocolate cupcakes, so you can use the dark brown colors, and then they have red velvet, so you can use dark red. There's so many flavors. Even then, you can play around with the icing on top as well, because they always have really, really funky flavors and icings, so you can really play around with colors. And that's what I like about making this sweet series too. It's not, the colors is like totally up to me and what I want to do. So there's no color that is too out of this world, so to speak. Because food, there's almost practically every color in food actually. So it's really fun when I am doing this project of thinking about what colors I want to use. So it's a lot of fun. Okay, so I did the same thing for this one as well. And I kind of made the sides of it. Okay, so I'm just going to go around again just to see, maybe I need to make some of the lines more prominent in certain areas. And that's fine, okay. So I'm done. And then go ahead, if you feel like the texture got smoothened out because I was holding on to it while pressing the lines earlier, you can always just take the toothbrush and kind of go back to texture it again. Okay. If you're really interested, if you're interested, please do join my Facebook group. And I do update once in a while for polymer clay, and I do share about some of the projects I made and stuff like that. So please do join. I've also have had people who are interested in doing sessions, and they have made appointments with me to come and learn how to make a certain thing, and I'm totally open with that too. So if you're interested, please do message me. All right. I'm always happy to share what I know about polymer clay too, so you can always just ask questions as well. Okay, so I have the red. Basically what I have done is I have rolled this icing into a long rope. I will do two different types of icing patterns. So if you've seen cupcakes out there, they have a ton of different icing patterns and colors. So I'm going to do two of the simplest types. Okay, it's quite common what we see out there. There's a ton more that I can do, but then it would end up being very long this session. So I'm just going to do two today. I'm going to start with the red first. Very simple, just roll it into a long rope. I've also mentioned before in my previous sessions that you start from one end and you kind of just roll it through to in one direction to the other end. All right, and that would make sure that it's even. The size of the string is more or less about the same throughout. Okay, because if you keep going back and forth this way, you end up some areas thicker and some areas being thinner, and you don't want that to happen. All right, very simple. Next, you're just going to start like how they pipe icing. Okay. If you have a sake stick or your toothpick, go ahead and use that. I'm just going to use this. Okay, why I'm doing this is I am actually using the tip to kind of press it into the top of the cupcake itself at the end. And this is to just make sure that the icing doesn't just fall off, okay? That it really sticks to the cupcake itself. All right. This is a really great way to do it. It's just to make sure also that if it does, that it will stay on. If it does fall out after baking, it's okay. Just you do have to use a bit of glue, and then you glue it back on. But if not, you place the icing. It's kind of like how you pipe icing onto a cupcake. You go round, and then you go round this way again, making the circles a little bit smaller each time as you go round. Okay. And then you put it on top of the other, this way, making the circle smaller each time as you go. And then breaking it off at the tip. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to pinch the tip a little bit to make it a little bit sharp. Usually the icing on top of the cupcake is a little bit pointy at the end. That's what you're going to do. Give it a little press. So then my icing on the cupcake is done. Very fast, very quick. Okay? So next, I am going to do a different way of doing icing. So I'm using my off-white here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cut it down to the size I want it. Okay, I'm still going to roll it into a long rope like I did earlier on. Alright, so this one's going to be a bit different. So this one, I'm actually going to make it a bit thicker. This rope a little bit thicker than the red one, and you'll see why in a while. But basically, because I want to cut a certain shape out of it, it's very, very simple. Okay. So basically, okay, so this rope's a little bit thicker. I'm going to take my roller. Okay. And then I'm going to give it a light press on top to kind of just flatten it a little. So I'm flattening the sides, okay, the top and bottom side. And then I'm taking my cutter and I am going to trim off the sides. Okay, so I'm trimming off the sides, and basically what I'm doing is I am making a square or a rectangle, whichever works, but I'm making a square. so that I have a straight edge round this side and a straight edge down the other side as well. So this is what I'm going to do to make the square. And you'll see why in a little bit. Okay, this is another different pattern for the cupcake, the icing of the cupcake. Okay, so I'm done with my square here, or rectangle, kind of. Okay. All right, so if you can see, it is straight on, it's flat on all four edges. It doesn't matter, some of it's a little bit, like some is a little bit thicker than the other, okay? Some parts of it, it doesn't really matter. So now, what we're going to do is, we're going to just twist it. So when you twist it, you get this pattern, okay? And it's a different pattern from the round one that we did earlier. All right, so you're just going to twist. So it's easy if you place it on your working tabletop and you kind of hold one end and roll the other, and then it will give you this twisted pattern for the icing that we do see sometimes on cupcakes. Okay, and then we are done. It looks like this. Okay, and then very simple, we do one end again. Okay, and then this end we are going to use our if you have a satay stick, go ahead and use your satay stick, okay, or toothpick, and then you're just going to press it in this way. And then you're going to go round. And then that's how we are building our icing for the cupcake. Okay, so don't worry if it's like not too even, or it's you know, a little bit more twirls on one side than the other. Actually, it doesn't really matter, and this is because if you do look at icings carefully in the cupcake shop, you know, they're not perfectly round all the time as well. Okay, so I am just going to, there we go. This is a lot, my icing's piled up a lot higher on this one than this one. All right, so it depends on you. You can always stack more circles up, or you can do it a little bit flatter like the red one. So it depends on what kind of look for the cupcake you're going for. And then these are the two cupcakes. So now, since I want to make them into charms, I would need the eye pin. Okay, so very simple. I have two eye pins. All right. If you have any questions, you know, please feel free to ask, and then or leave your comments. I'll be more than happy to just, you know, answer questions and things like that. Okay, usually at the end of my eye pins, when I'm doing the charms, I would fold the bottom a little, okay, just to make sure that it's stable. And then what I'm doing is I am actually just folding the bottom a little bit this way. Why I'm doing this is because it would be hard, like once I stick it into the polymer clay, okay, after it's baked, it will not be that easy to kind of slip out. Because if it's just straight down, okay, it will be very easy for the pin to kind of come out this way, because it's just a straight through hole. So, but if I do have this little, if I fold it at the bottom this way, okay, it would catch better, and then it would be almost impossible to pull out the eye pin from the clay itself. So this is a good way to not use glue. But I mean, what you can always do also is you can just, if it does come out, you can always just glue it. You know, you can always just put glue and glue it in. Okay, so I'm sticking it here and I'm kind of using the tip a little to hide the eye pin a little. Okay, so same for the other one. Kind of fold the bottom a little just to make sure, so that I've used this tongue before just to make sure it has a mechanical one, so we don't have to use the glue. Okay, and then that's done. Okay, and then we go through the middle and we stick the eye pin through the middle this way. Okay, and then that's done. All right, the eye pins are also available at Art Friend and Spotlight. You can find them. There are a couple of bead stores around Chinatown, Clarke Quay. So if you're interested, do let me know. I'll definitely, we can have a field trip, or just to find the resources and where you can find them. Or I can tell you where to buy them online too, because there are certain. Sometimes if we do buy online, we're not too sure of the quality, and these things can snap quite easily when we are using the pliers. So we just want to make sure that we get the right thing. Okay, so these ones are done and they'll be ready for baking. All right, I'll just leave my two little cupcakes here. I have already baked these ones. Okay, so I've done these ones from yesterday. And so you can see yesterday I made the icing a little bit more larger, so it kind of fills up the cupcake a little bit more, and then the red one a little bit higher. So you know, these ones, what you can do is, and what I would like to do is actually take a nail polish. Sorry, I'm gonna ask my husband to help me take it. Yeah, a nail polish top coat, because these are small. So sometimes icing is shiny. Okay, so you can just paint the icing, the top of it, just the icing itself. Okay, just to give it a little bit more dimension, and then it actually looks a lot nicer. Okay, so you can always just use top coat for nail polish. Same thing for this one too. I wouldn't recommend buying the varnish for polymer clay unless you're doing a very big, very large project. Okay, and those take about half an hour to dry. So nail polish top coat is just a lot easier. And if it does wear off, you can always just repaint it again. So and it dries in like minutes. Okay. So then this one is done too for this cupcake. Can't balance it. There we go. Okay, so you can just add a bit of top coat to it to give it a little bit more dimension. And so when you wear it, it looks a bit nicer too. And I'm done with today. So I have cupcakes and donuts, and you're going to see the whole series when I'm done with it. This is like a month-long project that I've been working on. If there's any suggestions, oh hi Leonard. Okay, hello. So if there's any suggestions, you know, please do feel free to drop me a private message. If you definitely want to know how to buy the resources and things like that, we can definitely meet up and I'll tell you what you need to buy and or what kind of project you're interested in doing. And we can definitely arrange time. Okay. If not, if you're interested in just learning how to make certain things, I do have all the materials as well. So you can just let me know and then we can meet up and I'll just teach you how to do it as well. So I've done that with a couple of people. So, you know, definitely join our Facebook page. Stay tuned. This afternoon, we're going to have a lot more going on in the Artsphere group. My husband will be having his Korean session later. It's very interesting about food. And then this morning we had a cooking session. So if you anyone out there who's interested in cooking, this is a great it's just something else that you can look at as well. Okay, please do like our page. And I hope to see you again next week. Happy National Day. Bye.